Hi, this is Sylvie from Sweet Skills. You're watching Tips and Tweaks. Thanks for joining us. This week we're going to talk about the ideal body position on our bikes. So if you want to feel in more control, have a funner ride, and have way more confidence, it's really key to get a good body position. So let's look at the key elements that are required to get this. Your position on your bike. You want your hips to be fairly tall and your shoulders over your bars. Now we're talking about flat terrain right here, and we'll touch on downhill near the end of the episode here. So your joints are relaxed, your shoulders over your bars. So when you lower slightly, your elbows are bent out to the side. So you have that aggressive body position, not a weaker one with your elbows in and collapsing when you hit the bumps. Super important. Your index finger will rest on your brake lever all the time, just covering it, ready for action. Remember, we talked about that last week. All right, your feet are going to be flat on the pedals. Your foot is over the middle of the pedal. Our gaze is ahead, head up, eyes up. We're always looking ahead where we're going down the trail. Then we can be prepared for what's coming at us. Make sure your knees are also bent and you're hinging back in your hips. You're not riding with a tucked under pelvis and weight down into the toes. Okay, so hips back, knees and elbows are ready to absorb the bumps. Positive talk will also help you be more relaxed instead of tightening up in fear of something coming. Be in the moment, have fun. Once you get this body position dialed, you're going to be able to layer on all kinds of other cool skills and techniques. But if you're stuck in a bad neutral position, it's going to be really hard to do those skills successfully. So say you're just a beginner starting out. This is what you really want to get dialed in. Because let me tell you, it's kind of hard to break these bad habits later on in your biking life. I try and do it all the time. And when I do get someone back into their nice centered position, it's like an aha moment. Everything else falls into place. All right, so some technical things that can go wrong that you can fix yourself. A lot of times it's that hip hinge. So is your butt poking out behind you? Are you lowering with your hips and shoulders equally as you're approaching bumpy terrain? With your tail tucked under and your elbows in a narrow, that's a really horrible position and you're gonna get all wobbly, okay? There's no more control or stability. The other thing I see a lot is people not being right over top of their handlebars. So just slightly back. When you do that, you're out of your centered neutral position and you will have more weight pulling back on your hands, more stiffness, less control. So your front end doesn't have as much weight on it as it should to be able to maintain control, dig into the corners, pump through the terrain. When we're our centered position, you can do all those things effectively. Be relaxed, stay centered with those elbows out, heels down, looking ahead so you're not surprised all of a sudden by something that's in front of you, so you can already take that good line. Let's talk about that downhill positioning now. So we've got our neutral position for the flats, which we just dialed in. Now we're starting to go downhill. We still don't want ourselves way over here. We're gonna lower your hips and your shoulders with the elbows bent out to the side and slightly come back. We only want to come back as far as we need to, depending on the angle of your bike. If you're too far back, you're not in your centered position anymore, and the front end will be light. So when you get to the bottom of a transition, you might lose the front end. Say on a steeper rock face, you won't have control over the front brake and you'll skid more. More weight on the rear, easier to skid the rear. Okay, so centered position, really important that your heels are down. So get your heels down so you can push into those pedals and absorb everything that's coming at you. Once you can get this body position dialed and understand all the key elements, you're going to be able to flow through the trails a lot smoother than you did before. Now practice it on an easier part of your trail to really feel that centered position and then go from there. So it's not until you can get the right body position that you can really progress your skills in a safe way. So practice, be patient, stay positive, and have fun. Okay, let's go rip it up.